take this time to welcome you to Sunrise here on Tobago Updates Television. I am your host, Lavian Cupid, and indeed it is a pleasure to be seated here before you. We are coming to you live from the Port Mall, downtown Scarborough, Tobago. Today is a Monday, the 26th of January, 2026. Yes, indeed, 2026 has already started rolling by nicely, quite smoothly, and we give God thanks and praise for that. If you're viewing us via either of our social media handles, I want to thank you so much for choosing Sunrise and of course choosing Tobago Updates Television to wake you up in the mornings and to keep you updated with all things current affairs. A reminder that Sunrise is that hard-hitting current affairs program where we start you off strong with what is happening in and around you, not only here on the island but Trinidad and Tobago as a wider entity, regionally and internationally. And with that, as always, I want to start you off strongly with the morning brief. Today at 10 a.m. at the Magdalena Grand Golf and Beach Resort, Her Excellency President Christine Carla Kangaloo will officially swear in secretaries and assistant secretaries of the Tobago House of Assembly. Following the Tobago People's Party decisive victory at the January 12th polls, the THA Amendment Bill 2026 was passed, giving way to an unlimited number of secretaries to govern the Assembly. Last week, while on a Good Morning Tobago, Chief Secretary Fale Augustine said everyone will not be made a secretary. I know Tobago is holding their breath this morning. Some persons are already guessing where who would go. But as always, Tobago Updates Television, we will be bringing you that live coverage. And you'll see if your guesses were correct. Moving on, a senior delegation from the United Arab Emirates, led by Her Excellency Nora bint Mohammed Al Kabi, visited the island as part of an official program focused on investment and cultural exchange. The delegation was received at the A.N.R. Robinson International Airport by Chief Secretary Fale Augustine and members of the Tobago House of Assembly. During the visit, the UAE delegation toured key development projects and visited Fort King George, where they experienced a cultural presentation highlighting Tobago's rich heritage. The Tobago program followed meetings in Trinidad, where the delegation met with cabinet members and toured potential investment sites. The visit formed a part of ongoing efforts to strengthen relations between the UAE and Trinidad and Tobago, and to present Tobago as a location for development and international partnership. In a late night post, moving on to politics, in a late night post to his Facebook account, political leader of the Tobago Council of the People's National Movement, Ansel Dennis, has warned that modern democracy is increasingly rewarding divisive and unethical leadership, pointing to the rise of U.S. President Donald Trump and drawing a comparison to similar political styles emerging in Trinidad and Tobago. Dennis argued that Trump's success demonstrated how dishonesty, cruelty, and disregard for institutions can become electorally viable. A formula, he said, has since been imitated internationally, including right here by Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar. He cautioned that this trend is especially dangerous for small democracies like Trinidad and Tobago, where confrontation can quickly erode public trust and weaken already fragile institutions. So I think that's the first public statement from the political leader of the People's National Movement, Ansel Dennis, since his party's crushing defeat at the January 12th polls. Also word from local media houses saying that he said he's not resigning. He never said he was going to resign. He's going to let the democratic process within the party take its course. I think the party is due for election sometime in April this year. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has come under heavy scrutiny from both the public and relatives of Joshua Samaru, who was shot and killed by police last week, after video footage appeared online showing what looked like Samaru's attempt to surrender after a police chase. Samaru's relatives have claimed that the act was an attempted execution of his common-law wife and U.S. citizen Kaya Seeley, who was also shot and remains hospitalized in a serious condition. Dismissing statements by Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara hours after the couple had been involved in an alleged shootout with officers. Samaru's father, Christopher Samaru, has vowed not to let the matter rest until justice is served. So we see that that's the hot topic within Trinidad and Tobago. Of course, on the heels of the ZOSO bill that the sitting cabinet wants to have passed, giving police extra powers. Some are now arguing that this is going to be an open, sepulchre of sorts, that police would now take advantage of these powers, and we'll see more police killings and more police abuse. So we will be having further conversations on that and keeping our eyes on those developments. Moving on regionally, at a PLP headquarters on Farrington Road in the Bahamas, Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis addressed supporters following the ratification of 15 candidates by the party's National General Council. He urged voters to remain with the Progressive Liberal Party and warned against risking everything on the Free National Movement, which he said had failed to prove itself. The ratified candidates included 11 incumbents, Senator Michael Hatkins, and 3 new candidates. Their names were announced to applause and party members gathered for the rally. Davis acknowledged that not everyone was satisfied with the outcome. Some party members, he said, were disappointed that their preferred candidates were not chosen. He reminded the crowd that disagreement and disappointment happen in every family, but unity after a decision is what matters most. General elections in the Bahamas is set for sometime later on this year. I think it must be before September 26th. But isn't it ironic that it's the Prime Minister Davis' words to party supporters sounds so familiar. It goes to show that there's nothing new under the sun. The problems that we have right here in Trinidad and Tobago, it is really worldwide. I mean, just the other day we had internal rumblings in the Tobago People's Party over the choices of candidates. And here we have in Bahamas, it's the same thing. Wherever you go in this world, it is the same thing. It's people, and people have emotions. And of course, sometimes our emotions takes over logic. And finally, wrapping up internationally, a series of powerful winter storms affected large areas of the United States, bringing heavy snow, ice, and extreme cold that disrupted travel and daily activities. The Midwest, Northeast, Great Lakes, and parts of the Central Plains saw hazardous road conditions, flight delays, school closures, and power outages. Bitter Arctic air caused the dangerous wind chills, prompting weather advisories and the opening of warming centers. Authorities urge residents to limit travel and stay alert, as forecasters warned that additional storms could prolong severe winter conditions. Of course, we know that we have a very strong viewing out there in New York, the Tobago diaspora. So we definitely hope that all our people are safe and staying warm in this weather condition. Well, all right, that's it for the morning brief here on Sunrise, keeping you updated with all things current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago as a wider entity, regionally and internationally. This morning, our conversation is going to be surrounded that perceived extrajudicial killing, where we saw that very chilling video circulating on social media with what seemed like the occupants of that aqua vehicle surrendering. We saw what looked like the driver's both arms out of the vehicle, and then you would have seen police emerging in the back just about 8 seconds later, exiting the vehicle, and then shots were fired. So that is the conversation we are going to be having this morning. And of course, we always look for some experience and expert commentary on these matters. Speaking with us is former National Security Minister and former Police Commissioner, Captain Gary Griffith. We will be speaking with him. But first, we're going to go for a quick break and be right back as we continue conversations here with you on Sunrise. So do me a favor. I need you to share the live, but also take in this beautiful aerial view that our technical crew is working on. See you in a bit.
Come in. Long time I see you. This station pumping. Ready for children party. Mommy! Jay, you can't go nowhere with these children. And you know you can't depend on Kevin neither Stephen to see about them. Yeah. Total waste. So I supposed to stay home whole time? Jada is 12. She could see about them. You just leave Jada to see about Kia and Kayla? I thought it was your mother or your sister. Who? Them always busy. Jada could handle that. She cooking and cleaning a long time. And the next two better know what time it is. It's only me, you know. I will talk to my mother. She just home these days. She will make sure the children okay. Alright. Let me see the moves for later.
Before your Ramage, make sure the children okay. Call 996 to report all child abuse now. A message from the Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago.
Tobago, the sun is rising, and so are the conversations that matter, from the economy to education, from healthcare to community voices. No spin, no fluff, just facts, truth, and clarity. Join me, Lavian, as we cover the issues that shape our lives, the stories we can't ignore. We bring them to the table and ask the questions you want answered.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Do more, live more.
Viewers, welcome back to Sunrise here on Tobago Updates Television. Thank you so much for staying with us. As promised, we're going to have a conversation with Captain Gary Griffith, a former Minister of National Security and former Police Commissioner, as we talk about the perceived extrajudicial killing that was seen in that viral video now on social media. Before we get into the conversation, we're going to take a look at the video.
Come on! No.
right, so joining me this morning is Captain Gary Griffith. Captain Griffith, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us here on Sunrise, as always. So right before you came on here, we had that very chilling video that is now causing quite an uproar in Trinidad and Tobago. My first question to you, sir, is when it comes to the use of force, is it a framework that the police officers are guided by? Some persons are saying, based on Commissioner of Police Alistair Guevara remarks, which was about 2 hours after the incident, he said it was a police-involved shootout with the suspects of the vehicle. Some persons are saying, from looking at the video, you're seeing that the gentleman would have had his arms outside of the vehicle as a sign of surrender. And some persons are saying, well, possibly there was a shootout before we saw this video, and so the police officers were justified in their actions. What are your remarks on that, sir?
Hi, good morning. It is very unfortunate. I mean, the comments I have made, I have been bombarded by thousands of persons. The vast majority have actually been attacking me because of their disenchantment, lack of trust, lack of belief in the police service. But I can't. I mean, me being someone in law enforcement for decades, I can't turn my back and attack the police service. So maybe I have been biased, but I can't go ahead and demonize the police service. But this situation, it is definitely going to put a dent in the public trust and confidence in the police service. But incidents do happen, as unfortunate as it is, but there must be consequences. What you do not want is, after an incident like this, to hear the Commissioner of Police make a statement where people Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles could see that what he said there is in contrast to what actually happened at first glance. He may have received that information, so he automatically said it, and that's where it is. This is the unfortunate situation. Again, this man was appointed as a commissioner of police, but he was middle management. He never held any senior position in the police service. He was never outside onto the streets. He spent most of his time in special branch. So he would make these mistakes. The comment should have been, the initial reports that I have received stated that there was a shootout between the police and suspects. But for him to make that statement, it can be perceived that they're trying to cover up, because you can't see someone putting his hands in the air, surrendering, and you're saying that there was a shootout. Now, everybody is a security expert in this country. Everybody has a comment to make, because that is where I'm hearing so many comments. It is unbelievable. It is mind-boggling. First, there's a government official who has been sending a video around the country, and he sent it to certain people to send it out and spread. And it is stating that sometimes in these situations, when it is that the police are in hot pursuit, you must not do that, because you can cause the police to be nervous and it can cause problems. Total stupidity. I condemn that government official for sending those videos. And then he said that when you put your hands in the air in a crash, there could be dust, and the dust could cause the police officers to second guess. Total lies, total nonsense. That individual, who may have been even involved in law enforcement, obviously was never trained in law enforcement properly. Going back to the comments made by people, if it is, now there could have been a possibility, there could have been a shootout between that individual and the police before the car crash. That does not in any way give the police authorization to be able to shoot at individuals. So let me give you an example. If police shoot at police officers, they drop their firearms and they start running, it gives the police no authorization to fire. There's a minimum use of force policy. The minimum use of force specifically states that you have enough grounds to have equal response to neutralize the person. If at any time that person is neutralized, you cannot continue to fire. And even when you looked, there was at least a 10-second lull, and two of the idiots continued to still fire, and you could see that the two individuals were neutralized, whether it was dead or injured. And the fool started saying, don't move. And the other guy realized, okay, we have gone too far, and you're telling him to hold it down. This is bad training, and this is why it is my concern about this is that with this situation, with the zone of special operations, there's a trigger now that is causing many persons to be very wary that this ZOSO is going to cause police officers to do this. I have someone very close to me, a very close relative. Police officers put a gun to his head 2 years ago, and he is still in Maracas police station on patrol. It's only in a banana republic that police officer immediately should have been suspended or not be on active duty. But this is what happens. These officers, and again, I'm not saying that these things could never happen. I had a similar situation as Commissioner of Police. Immediately as it happened, all 17 officers were suspended. And then later on, a few weeks later, when we got the video footage, we realized it was just 4 or 5 of them involved in the shootings. That is what should have been done. The commissioner should have said immediately all the officers involved in this have been suspended and their weapons taken from them, or they put on desk duty. That's the least that could happen until the investigation is complete. No, instead he says it was a shootout between the police and the individuals. So to summarize, there's no justification, and I'm not going to cast any aspersions and give judgment on a situation that's presently being still investigated. But at first glance, watching this, I want to reconfirm to the citizens whether persons were escaping from the police and crash, because you're seeing foolish comments. Well, why were they running? It doesn't matter. If you can be in hot pursuit, you crash your vehicle, it gives the police no authorization to shoot at you. If it is that you shot at the police before and then you crash, it gives the police no authorization or approval to fire at you. The only time they can do that is if someone points a gun at them, if they believe it was a firearm, or if the weapon was actually fired. If someone surrenders and you continue to shoot, that is not minimum use of force policy. That is murder.
So I want to speak to even the investigations thereafter, because we see that the PCA would have said that in 2025 there was about 55 fatal police shootings, and in 37 in 2024 and 39 in 2023. Only 5 from 2023 have been closed. All the others are open. Even if we take a look back in 2022, where we had that officer in Rich Plain that was shot, and it later confirmed that he was not shot by the civilian that they were in pursuit of, but he was actually shot by one of his fellow officers. And I recall, and even the public, I'm pretty sure we recall, that there was a manhunt out looking for the perceived suspect. And until it was the autopsy proved that he was shot by one of his very own officers. My question is to you, do you believe, and seeing that public trust in police force is at 8% now, 8% out of 100%, I just want to put that out there. Is it that citizens should be scared to engage with the police service?
I will say that they should be very concerned. But my point again is that there are 7,000 odd police officers. 6,500 of them were the same police officers just 4 years ago, when public trust in the police service was 59%. So when people say, well, that is not the point. It's not a difference in leadership or policies. It has to do with the individuals being properly trained. Police officers come from society. They are, but they are expected to be at a higher standard. Having said that, we are trained not to steal, not to rape, not to kill, but persons do it if there's not a deterrent. In 5 years ago, these same police officers, this would not happen because we had body cameras that I made just months before I departed office. It was a mandatory standard operational procedure. Body cameras must be worn. And this present commissioner has refused to enforce that body camera implementation. He and the media is not asking him why. Because the lies that they're saying, well, we need to make sure there's 7,000 for all officers. That is a cop-out, literally. Because you don't have more than about 800 police officers on operational duty at any one time. So the reason why we got 1,200 initially, it took me 2 or 3 years to get the funding for it, because for decades, no police commissioner before me ever thought about that, because they were old-time police officers. I knew the importance of building public trust and confidence. So I got tasers, I got pepper spray, I got body cameras, we got GPS tracking on the police vehicles, we got live cameras on the vehicle. So even if it is that the police officer didn't have the body camera, the live video on the top of the vehicle would be seen back to an operational command center. We had a police app, we had online reporting, we had situations you could contact the commissioner personally. All of these things cause every police officer out in the street to realize, if I do a roadblock and I decide to flirt with a girl or disrespect her, or that person could call Gary and I could be up at the office. Every morning I'll have 5 or 10 officers lined up, and I will speak to them, I will discipline them, I will advise them. And that changed the transformation of the police service. There was accountability. Their performance was being measured. They knew that anytime they were in a roadblock, you disrespect someone, immediately it could be at the commissioner's office. That has now changed. It has gone back to police officers realizing I could point a gun to your head, I could do what I want. And again, every month I met with the police complaint authority. I gave them authority, I give them teeth. The PCA doesn't have that anymore. It has gone back to the old-time police officers. I don't care about the PCA. You all are problems to society. The PCA, all they could do is give recommendations. The police is the law unto themselves. And unless you have a commissioner that is ready to do what I did, all 17 were immediately suspended. That is what the commissioner should do this morning. To build back to public trust and confidence, all of them should be suspended with immediate effect. But no, police, this thing of police covering for police, I was never into that. Whilst at the same time, I want the public to understand that in my period, we had gang members shooting at police officers. And when I see stupid comments by persons who obviously, I have a 6-year-old nephew that can educate them. If it is that you shoot at a police officer, I had police officers' lives being saved with their bulletproof vests, rounds hitting their chest. I had police vehicles like a strainer littered with shots, and the police would return fire. And I told them, do not come with this shooting a leg and an arm. One shot, one kill. You shoot at a police officer, you try to kill a police officer, it is your right to go for the head or chest. Take them out. Neutralize them before they shoot at you. That has nothing to do with a situation if someone is retreating, if a vehicle is fleeing from the police, if it is your hands in the air. You cannot justify shooting at citizens. And if what is based on the initial video content, immediately the commissioner of police should apologize for his initial comment. 2, the commissioner should have all these officers suspended. They should not be carrying firearms. And 3, the police service, commission should start doing a proper analysis to measure the performance of commissioners and deputy commissioners. They stay silent, they do nothing, which goes back to my biggest problem in this constitution. The prime minister handpicks a president who handpicks a commissioner, police service commission. Because as I always go back, Ulla Christopher, when she was appointed, she didn't come in the top 20 by international experts. As soon as we put a police service commission to judge, who was handpicked by a president, who was handpicked by a prime minister, she placed first, and she was imposed on us. So the only way we could get good commissioners is to take away politically appointed persons to appoint commissioners and to make sure that they can properly keep them in check. This situation, the police service commissioner will stay silent, the commissioner of police will stay silent, and everybody will stay silent and hope that this matter goes away. And now we have 2 more notches on the guns of police officers that could be seen as extrajudicial killing.
So I want you to clarify something when it comes to the use of force policy, because sometimes you would hear random citizens, just a regular man on the street, when police is involved in any altercation with a citizen, and they usually would say, well, you could have wound him, they could have shoot his leg, or they could have shoot his arm, or they could have shoot. Is it that once a police officer draws a firearm that it escalates at that point? Is it that, because clarify for me, the firearm is your last resort because therefore your life is in danger. And if I pull a firearm as a police officer, is it that is a shoot to kill point, or is it there's room for a shoot to wound point?
No, when you draw a firearm, there's a saying you cannot be half pregnant. Your job is now to neutralize the person. And that's why when I spoke about one shot, one kill, you try to shoot. If someone is shooting at you as a police officer and you aim at someone's leg or arm, you have now minimized the target, which means that you can actually miss. It allows that person to shoot again. Secondly, even if you hit that part of the body, it can still cause the person to have the ability to still fire at you, which is why targets in the police service in training is a head and chest. And that's why police officers were very skeptical when I was commissioner, because the gang members, that's when, remember, crime was over 500 murders. They were taking control of areas. And I had to give the confidence to police officers. If they shoot at you, you now have to use that extreme force, which is a firearm, to protect yourself. And to protect yourself, you need to neutralize the enemy. And to neutralize that person is a head or a chest, which is why I spoke about one shot, one kill. That persons who were criminals or sympathetic to criminals had a problem with. That is the only way that you can ensure that your life could be saved or that of citizens. But it goes back to my point. Before I was commissioner of police, all the commissioners before, there was never a minimum use of force policy. So if a man had a big stick and was chasing a police officer or a vagrant, the police officer has nothing else and he will use his firearm to say, well, I had no other choice. That is why I've used verbal persuasion. That is why I started giving police officers with a radio so they could have communication to have immediate backup, because numerical superiority can cause a situation to de-escalate. From then, I issued tasers. I issued pepper spray. So as the situation escalates, the police can move from verbal persuasion to the radio for backup to then using pepper spray or to use a taser. And then the firearm is the final use of force. That's why I changed the uniform. I got the belt so that they could put the tasers, the firearm, the pepper spray, the radio, and so forth. All of that was removed by McDonald, Jacob, Euler, Christopher, and Guevara. They have refused to re-implement it. So all of the things I spoke about for minimum use of force policy, the radios, the tasers, the pepper spray, and so forth. And now the police officers have gone back to their one thing, which is the firearm, and they have refused to utilize the body cameras that I also put as a standard operational procedure. It is a standing order. Any police officer who does not turn on his body camera when going on a patrol can and should be suspended immediately. The media is not asking Guevara, why are you not implementing it? Because again, I want to come back to the point. If he says they are not enough, that is a lie. We checked and we realized so what is supposed to happen is that you go on a patrol, a roadblock, an operation, a warrant issue, you sign for the body camera, you turn it on. When you finish, you return it. And then I had a unit that will check to verify if you had it turned on while you were on duty. Giving each person an issue and they're keeping it for themselves, it means that you will never know because you're not checking to see if it was used or not. That is my point. So they're not using the body cameras, they're not using the tasers, they're not using the pepper spray. No, online reporting is not available. The police app is not available. They removed the dashboard cameras. So it seems that they've done everything to go back to the old-time policing of just do what you want and hope that there will be no consequences. So again, I said there's an escalation in minimum use of force policy. And in that situation, because of the individual putting his hands in the air, there was no need to use pepper spray, no need to use tasers, and definitely on initial viewing, no need to have fired at that vehicle.
So thank you. But finally, before we go, I know your time is precious and you have other engagements. I want to ask, do you think, in your opinion, do you think that citizens should support the Zoso bill, seeing as what has just recently happened with this police-involved killing?
Yeah, well, I have my pages and so forth. It gets about 500,000 hits, and the vast majority of people who are responding are now condemning Zoso and saying that they don't trust the zone of special operations because of what has happened recently. And then we saw a recent report as well where someone actually just won in court against the state because the police foolishly decided to remove him whilst he was conducting a one-man protest, which was lawful. So the police acted unlawfully, and all of these things continue to invade the confidence that the public will have on the police service. My take on it is, if it was 59% a few years ago, it gets back to that, Zoso can be of value. But for that to happen, we need a commissioner who understands the ground, who understands community policing, who understands use of force policy. And if that does not happen, it is going to affect the confidence the public will have of the police, and it is going to negatively have a view that Zoso can be something where the police will abuse the authority even more. So I think it lies now on the commissioner of police to get his act together, because a lot of these police officers, it's getting out of hand. The way they're speaking to the public, they're trying to roadblock their way out of crime, they're targeting persons. It has to stop. And it can only happen if you put the checks and balances of the things we had before that caused public confidence in the police service to be 59%.
All right. Captain Griffith, I want to thank you so much for joining us and waking up for sunrise this morning. It was a pleasure having you on, sir, and we look forward to other conversations with you. All right, viewers, so that was Captain Gary Griffith, former Commissioner of Police and Minister of National Security, speaking on the perceived extrajudicial killing that we recently saw, that very chilling video circulating on social media. Of course, the Zones of Special Operations Bill was still awaiting 4 votes from independent senators. Once those 4 votes are cast, once you have the support of those 4 independent senators, then that bill will be passed. And so following this perceived extrajudicial killing, persons are saying, give the police more powers. Would they abuse it? What would we look like here in Trinidad and Tobago? Of course, we're going to keep our eyes on this. We're going to listen out to hear what the Commissioner of Police has to say now, and even the Minister of Homeland Security and National Security, now that this video has surfaced. I mean, persons are saying, what if that house wasn't in that position and had that camera in that position, that we could have seen this evidence? I mean, it's such a big picture. It's a bigger picture moment and not a small picture moment. I want to thank you so much for joining Sunrise. You know the programming here on Tobago Update Television is not over, because of course we move over to the morning show with the lovely Vanessa. Vanessa, good morning.
Good morning, Lavia.
Always a pleasure. How are you this Monday morning? The month is almost done.
Indeed. I am very vibrant this morning. It's a new week. It's a new opportunity to get things done. It's an opportunity to be even more productive than the week before.
Of course. I think this year my mantra is to be the best that I could be, the best Lavian that I could be. Yeah, always self-improvement. I definitely always believe in that. But I'm also grateful that the 189 days of January is almost over. And we move into February. We could shake a little leg or something in National Carnival.
And I can see that you are already ready for the month of February. You know, February is the love month and you are already adorned in the bread.
Yeah, roses and chocolates and something will happen. I would have wished you a wonderful day and a great show. All right, I'll see you tomorrow, Renessa.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, viewers, so that's it for Sunrise here on Tobago Updates the Television. And thank you so much for waking up early and joining me. Tomorrow, as per usual, we have great conversations. We're moving on into the week, keeping you updated with all things current affairs. Looking out for the morning show. Wishing you a great day. See you tomorrow.
The Caribbean is more than just a place. It's a spirit, resilient, vibrant, and full of possibility. Rooted in connection, driven by community. It's who we are at the heart of everything we do. For over 150 years, we've been right here, invested in the Caribbean, its people, and its progress. And today, we're going even further. Liberty Business, rooted in the Caribbean, committed to you.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Come in. Long time I see you. This station pumping. Ready for children party. Mommy! Jay, you can't go nowhere with these children. And you know you can't depend on Kevin neither Steven to see about them. Yeah, total waste. So I supposed to stay home whole time? Jada is 12. She could see about that. You just leave Jada to see about Kia and Kayla? I thought it's your mother or your sister. Who? Them always busy. Jada could handle that. She cooking and cleaning a long time. And the next two better know what time it is. It's only me, you know. I will talk to my mother. She just home these days. She will make sure the children okay. Alright. Let me see the moves for later.
Before your Ramajé, make sure the children okay. Call 996 to report all child abuse now. A message from the Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago.
Tobago, the sun is rising, and so are the conversations that matter, from the economy to education, from healthcare to community voices. No spin, no fluff, just facts, truth, and clarity. Join me, Lavian, as we cover the issues that shape our lives, the stories we can't ignore. We bring them to the table and ask the questions you want answered.
is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. More, live more.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, Tobago. Good morning to Trinidad. Good morning to our international viewers and regional viewers. This is Tobago Updates Morning Show, and I am your host, Renessa Ortiz. It's a new week. It's a new opportunity to start fresh. It's an opportunity to give thanks. You have been blessed and you have been spared to come on to Monday, 26 January 2026, and it's just an opportunity for you to start again. This morning, I am live in studio here at the Port Mall. This morning, Akinlabi is not joining us, but that is okay. I'm going to take you through this morning's proceedings. But before we go a bit further into that, we head on over to news in 90 seconds. And here's what's making news in 90 seconds for Monday, 26 January 2026. Today at 10 a.m. at the Magdalena Grand Golf and Beach Resort, Her Excellency President Christine Carla Kangaloo will officially swear in secretaries and assistant secretaries of the Tobago House of Assembly. Following the Tobago People Party's decisive victory at the January 12th polls, the THA Amendment Bill 2026 was passed, giving way to an unlimited number of secretaries to govern the Assembly. Last week, while on Good Morning Tobago, Chief Secretary Farley Augustine said everyone will not be made a secretary. Up next, a senior delegation from the United Arab Emirates, led by Her Excellency Nora bin Mohammed Al Kabi, visited the island yesterday as part of an official program focused on investment and cultural exchange. The delegation was received at the A&R Robinson International Airport by Chief Secretary Farley Chavez Augustine and members of the Tobago House of Assembly. During the visit, the UAE delegation toured key development projects and visited Fort King George, where they experienced a cultural presentation highlighting Tobago's heritage. The Tobago program followed meetings in Trinidad, where the delegation met with cabinet ministers and toured potential investment sites. The visit formed part of ongoing efforts to strengthen relations between the UAE and Trinidad and Tobago to present Tobago as a location for development and international partnership. And finally, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has come under heavy scrutiny from both the public and relatives of Joshua Samaru, who was shot and killed by police last week after video footage appeared online showing what looked like Samaru's attempt to surrender after a police chase. Samaru's relatives have claimed the act was an attempted execution of his common-law wife and U.S. citizen, Kaya Seeley, who was also shot and remains hospitalized in a serious condition. Dismissing statements by Police Commissioner Alistair Guevero hours after the couple had been involved in an alleged shootout with officers, Samaru's father, Christopher Samaru, has vowed not to let the matter rest until justice is served. These and other stories in our major newscast at 6:30 p.m. Be viewing Tobago Updates Television, and that was your news in 90 seconds. Now we're hearing news about the video that surfaced last week about the shooting of Joshua Samaru and his common-law wife, and we're just hoping to see how things would unfold within the next few days as investigations continue. Now we're on to our birthdays. It's that celebratory part of our morning where we celebrate those who have sent in their birthday greetings, their anniversary greetings, even someone who has graduated. We want to celebrate that moment with you. Up first, we have Trisha Sobers. Good morning and a happy birthday to you from the Tobago Updates family. We're wishing you a bright day today. We hope that God's richest blessings continue to be showered upon your life. Up next, we have Kelson Kennedy. Good morning, Mr. Kennedy, and happy birthday to you. We hope that today is a splendid day and that your new year going forward is filled with all your heart's desires. Next up, we have Asha Toby Alfred. Happy birthday to you. You look very lovely here. I'm loving the red in your hair. I hope you have a splendid day and you're spending it with your loved ones and that you get all your heart's desired going forward in this year. Next up, we have Kersha Cowan. Happy birthday to you. Very vibrant in your pink. We hope that today is filled with lots of joy, lots of laughter. It's filled with those who want the best for you and that your year going forward, that it's filled with progress, it's filled with prosperity. And last but certainly not least, we have Melendi Sebro. Happy birthday to you from the Tobago Updates family. We're wishing you a bright and prosperous year ahead and that today is filled with all your heart's desires. And that's it for birthday shout-outs. Remember to send in your celebrations with us so we can celebrate with you here at the Tobago Updates. Now for our rundown this morning. We have with us Corporal Larry Brathwaite and PC Maurice Goddard, and they are talking about crime updates here on the island and security measures during the cruise ship season, and that's a two-part segment. And after that, we're going to have Anicia Batiste Rodriguez. She's the owner and service provider of Sana with Nicia, and she's going to be talking about painting our Love Valentine's event. Now, viewers, we want you to stay tuned with us and remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So, even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and the service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships, it's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood. or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49SWIFT 4979438.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
Hair goals, we've got 'em. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy for queens who know exactly what they want.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, viewers, welcome back to Tobago Updates Morning Show. We are here in studio with Corporal Larry Brathwaite and PC Maurice Goddard. We're here to talk about safety tips during the cruise season. We're also here to talk about carnival tips on the upcoming cusp of the season, as well as crime updates here in Tobago. Good morning and welcome to you, gentlemen.
Yes, blessed morning to the viewing public, and extra special morning to those viewing from the beautiful island of Tobago.
Now, to the both of you, what are some of the updates, crime updates here on the island that the public should be aware about?
Also, I have some updates here. I could read some for you all. I could talk about the recent offenses taking place in Tobago. So recently we had a Signal Hill man charged with housebreaking and larceny, and that was on the 5th of January. A report of housebreaking and larceny. It was at the Signal Hill in Tobago, and it was reported to the officers of the Scarborough CID, and number 20179 PC James conducted inquiries and later arrested and charged one known by Anthony Edwards, aged 29 years, of Cornell Rock Road, Signal Hill, for the offense. And Edward appeared before the Master Shah, where he pleaded not guilty and was granted bail in the sum of $85,000 with a surety and with a cash alternative of $10,000. The court further ordered that Edwards is to have no direct or indirect contact with the virtual complainant, and he must also remain at least 100 feet away from the virtual complainant and 200 feet away from the virtual complainant's residence, and other conditions of his bail were also given. And the officers of the CID continue to advise the public to secure their premises and to remember that safety is all our priority. So the matter has been transferred to the Scarborough District Court and is scheduled to be heard on February 25th. Another crime update is where two men were caught with stolen items, and they appeared before the court for housebreaking and larceny, and that was on Thursday, the 8th of January 2026. And police officers of the ARP unit were on patrol in the Signal Hill area when they arrested two men with a black bag containing several stolen items. Number 21605 WPC Superville of the Scarborough Criminal Investigations Department conducted further inquiries and later charged J1 Edwards, aged 18 years, unemployed, of Tankard, Signal Hill, and Samson Lace, aged 21 years, of Paradise Avenue, Piccadilly Lane, Signal Hill, Tobago, for the offense. Both men appeared before the Master Shah on Monday, the 19th of January, and where they pleaded not guilty, and Edwards was placed on bail with surety in a sum of $40,000 or cash alternative of $4,000, while Late was given bail in a sum of $45,000 or cash alternative of $4,500. Both men were given reporting conditions, and in Tobago, additionally, there are reports of major accidents, and this is common during the fete season, for want of a better term. Right? The TPPS wants to remind individuals to drive responsibly and don't be tempted to be a crash dummy. Right? I also saw reports where individuals, unfortunately lost their expensive luxury items in events. And also, we want to remind persons also that they have a personal responsibility to secure their belongings. So because you're in VIP doesn't mean that it's safe. Some people come to VIP simply to commit crimes, to rob and to pickpocket. So be careful, be vigilant, and do drop your guard. All right? So that's it. And just want to remind persons that the TTPS has launched their campaign, safety campaign, during this season. It's launched in Trinidad and it's also in Tobago as well. So the campaign is called Securing the Vibes, where we encourage individuals to make better choices for a safer bacchanal season, for want of a better term.
So we're seeing that there's a trend of robberies across the island of Tobago. Not so much serious cases like murder as yet. And we're hoping that it remains that way. But we know usually as time goes by and the years go down, some of the things happen. And we're hoping that that remains zero. We're hoping that it remains at zero. But as you mentioned, there is a campaign that you are now putting out for the carnival season. Can you go a bit into that campaign? What's the purpose of it?
The campaign is simply to remind persons to be safe during this season. So we have safety tips that we will share with persons. We have, we are reminding persons that to party safely, right? Normally when you party, there's substance abuse. There's a risk of public substance abuse and risk of public safety. The TTPS reminds the public that while social events, fetes, and celebrations are part of our culture, the use of alcohol and other substances can significantly increase the risk of injury, crime, and loss of life. Substances commonly encountered at parties, these may include the cannibal, marijuana. You will see the so-called club drugs such as MDMA, ecstasy, or Zessa pills. You've seen cocaine, you've seen ketamine and similar stimulants. And there are also prescription medication used outside of medical guidance. And you see where they are mixing it with energy drinks. And that could be fatal. In some instances, condolences to the family of the deceased. We saw recently where a party goer would have collapsed. We don't know the details and the facts, but mind you that these occurrences are not a one-off. They happen, you'll be surprised to know that in A&E, if you go to the hospital, you will hear a lot of incidences happening during the season. And you'll be surprised to know that it's caused by people abusing drugs, mixing substances and different things like that. So you want to remind partygoers, be wise, be vigilant. Don't mix your alcohol with these pills, use discretion. Don't drink at all if possible. Right? And we are also reminding persons that that drinking and driving should be avoided. That should be avoided to reduce the likelihood of accidents and violence and even medical emergencies. Remind persons to avoid drinking and driving, and remind persons to be hydrated. And unpredictable events due to unknown strengths of the unadulterated substances. So you don't know what you are mixing, what you are using. So we want to remind persons to be safe when they are partying. Avoid these incidences. Additionally, other safety concerns, we want to remind the public to look out for your friends. Intervene if somebody appears to be unwell. If you see something is happening to somebody, intervene. There are police officers in these events. There are also fire officers in these events. It's better to have the police and the fire in the events and tell us if they are not doing anything than to need them and they are not there. Some promoters might say the cost for the police and the fire might be a little bit costly, but they serve a purpose, and these are the purposes that they serve. To ensure safety and also to attend to medical emergencies. That's why the fire officers are there.
Now let me just take you back to the campaign that you spoke about. Is this going to be primarily a social media campaign, or are you going to go into the schools as well? Because we know that some of our young people are very active in some of these activities, and you spoke about the pills and the stuff like that. Are you going to be going into the schools? Is there going to be a caravan? What is it going to look like in terms of rolling out the campaign into the public domain?
We are already in the schools, and during that season, we actually go to the schools, we lecture to the children. As a matter of fact, today we are scheduled to go into 2 schools and do presentations and lectures. And we touch on these topics. We talk to the students, we also talk to the parents, we talk to the teachers as much as possible, and we sensitize the students and also the general public. Yes?
Okay, awesome. Anything else you would like to share in terms of this particular campaign to the public, as well as some more safety tips for the public and when they are going out to their events, some things to keep in mind? Because I know apart from being drunk or being intoxicated, driving dangerously if you are intoxicated, there's also the opportunity for crime to occur in terms of pickpocketing, person going into with glass bottles, using them as weapons.
So one of the things that we want to touch on here, good morning everyone at Tobago and by extension all over the internet. One of the things we want to touch here is drinks. Please go for your own drink. Anybody is vulnerable, male or female. Don't think only females are vulnerable. Male or female, they are vulnerable. Make sure that you go for your own drink. If you're not sure about someone who went for your drink, don't drink it. Because we've seen where a lot of people has been abused, not only sexually, but abused by some sort of drug mixed in the drink, as would have been mentioned earlier. And then that person wakes up the following day and they have lost a lot of items. They don't know, sometimes they can't remember who they actually went to the fete with. So we are asking that you be mindful of that and be vigilant.
So you talk about sexual abuse, but we're going to talk about the point of you're going to a fete and you're going there to have a good time, so expect some unwanted touching. Can you touch a bit on that for the public, for persons who feel as though they were inappropriately touched or someone came on to them in a way that they didn't like?
So yes, what I want to say here is that not because it's a carnival fete and yes, our culture is you jam on anybody and you whine on anybody. Once somebody doesn't want you to touch them, please don't touch them. It could amount to assault, or it could amount to sexual assault depending on how they were touched or how they feel they were touched. Sometimes it's not how you feel you touch somebody, but it's how that person feels and reacts. So you have to be mindful of that also. And be careful when you go out, some of the things you say to people, because sometimes just the mere words could amount to assault or that sexual, that kind of sexual assault.
Can you give some examples of what those might be to our viewers? Because again, as you said, in our culture, there are things that we have said for years upon years and we have never had any repercussions for it. Yeah,
so, many times we like to go and just hold someone and start gyrating on them. That could amount to, especially if that person felt a particular way when you touched them or how you held them. Walking up to someone and just walking into their space and holding them and looking at them and saying certain things to them, these are the things that could constitute that. So you have to be careful. Yes, I know we live in this society where this culture is, but we still have to be mindful that there is a law and there are people who don't want you to in the way that you think that you could touch them.
Thank you so much, P.C. Goddard. Go ahead, Mr.
And if I may add, a lot of times you go to these events and you'll have a good time. A male might see a female and dance with them, have a good time with them, sometimes drop them home. You have to be mindful of the age of these persons who you are having a good time with, because they might drop on somebody, one thing lead to the next, and then you end up before the magistrate. So be mindful of that, be vigilant. So yes, we want to remind persons that yes, accidental jostling is a thing. You can't be in a crowd. The crowd is, the crowd might move to the left, move to the right, you bounce upon somebody, might touch somebody inappropriately by accident, hopefully by accident. So we have to be mindful of that. So, sometimes persons may want to lash out because somebody touched them. But you have to be considerate. You're in an environment where there are a number of people, the crowd will move and somebody might bounce upon you. They might accidentally touch you or even spill a drink on you. Let's be mindful of that and let's be reasonable. Because sometimes the response to somebody touching you or bouncing on you might be unwarranted. Somebody might turn around and slap somebody one time, and then that will escalate into a big fight, or even a drink throw on somebody. So let's apologize. But let's be wise, right?
Now, Corporal Brathwaite and P.C. Goddard, we're going to continue the conversation when we get back from the break. So viewers, remember to stay tuned and share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
The Caribbean is more than just a place. It's a spirit, resilient, vibrant, and full of possibility. It's who we are at the heart of everything we do. For over 150 years, we've been right here, invested in the Caribbean, its people, and its progress. And today, we're going even further. We're deepening our commitment to the region, continuing to invest in the networks, services, and digital solutions that move Caribbean businesses forward. Whether you are a mid-sized business or multinational player, we bring you resilient connectivity, personalized service, and tailored IT solutions, all powered by local teams that truly have your back. We're here to help you navigate challenges, grow, and achieve your goals with practical solutions, reliable networks, and a partnership rooted in trust and your long-term success. Liberty Business, rooted in the Caribbean, committed to you.
Coconut Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, buljoil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back, and we are continuing our conversations with the TTPS, but we're going into cruise ship season and advice for all visitors and some of the risks that are faced here on the island and what we can do to curb some of them. Good morning and welcome back again, gentlemen.
Morning.
Now, PC Godard, cruise ship season brings more visitors to the island and it poses some serious risks. What are some of those risks that our visitors can encounter, and what are some of the things that they can do to ensure that they don't end up in some of these situations?
Well, some of the risks, here, one of the things we have is this petty crime. Beside breaking and entering, we saw recently that a foreigner would have left their bag on the beach unattended and went for a bath, and when they came back the bag was gone. And we have to advise that you don't do that in any country you go. Crimes like that are crimes of opportunity, and you have to be mindful that your valuables are not to be left unattended.
Now walk us through what are some of the security practices that you have in place in terms of the port areas, traffic zones, at the malls, on the street of Scarborough as well, Pigeon Point, and all of these areas that all visitors would tend to be in these spaces.
Well, in Scarborough per se, we have a patrol coming from Scarborough, and I must thank Sergeant York also, who ensures that, he has a patrol all the time out when we have a cruise ship, that, patrols, some on foot, some on bike from the traffic section, and then we also at the tourism-oriented police section has a bicycle patrol in Scarborough. But beside that, in the Pigeon Point area, we also have the bicycle patrol and the foot patrol. We get support from the Crown Point Police Station also. And at Roxborough, I myself, as part of the unit, go to Roxborough and deal with the waterfall and the rainforest and the Castara Beach and those. So we are covered where that is concerned. It's just that sometimes, as people, whether foreign or local, we like to explore, and sometimes, and that's why you have to have police and tour operators that could look out, or not only for the people that they're in your space, but the people who are not there in your space also.
Now, what are some of the most common visitor issues? Is it pickpocketing? Is it charging higher prices, harassment, fake tour guides? What are some of the things that usually occur?
So, we haven't had any major incidents, and I must say thank God for that. But some of the issues could be, yes, let's call it the price gouging kind of thing, where you have a local price and then you have a foreign price. So you might have something for 10 TT, but when there is a foreigner, they say 20 or 25 TT. And sometimes that's distasteful because, many times you travel at other smaller destinations in the Caribbean. The price is set, everybody pays the same price, and might I add duty-free also. And I think we have to come to that in order to encourage more visitor arrivals here.
Now, how can the vendors and the transport operators help with alleviating some of these issues that may occur here when it's cruise ship season?
Well, education. Most people, it's just education, and I stress that because as an officer working in the tourism-oriented part of the policing, and also had a background in hotel and visitor arrival, you have to be mindful that people want an experience, and people come back because of people, not because the place looked nice or they had a good drive around. It's not that. It's about the interaction with people, and if we people can give them an experience, then people connect, and when people connect, people want to visit again.
If I may add, recently I was in the airport, and a tourist, a visitor, saw me and literally ran behind me to ask me a question. She said that she wants to get a taxi from the airport to a hotel, and she saw this gentleman who was offering to take her there, but she was a bit concerned. You know, she wasn't sure if he's legit or if he's just somebody posing. And I told her to show me the gentleman. When I saw the gentleman, I know him from the area. I looked at him and he was just, you know, just casually dressed, you know, the way how he conducted himself and so on. Just look at Kiki Lyman. And then she asked me, she said, he doesn't have an ID or a badge or something to show. You know, and I look around and I asked him, I said, you have your ID with you? He said, it's in the car. I said, okay. But his car was parked across the road. But then when I looked around, I saw other individuals come in. They were just about approaching, and they had on the, you know, they were in all white. They had the taxi badge around their neck. They looked uniform and, you know, acted professionally. So I think one way to alleviate the fear of the tourists or the visitors is to be well dressed, you know, uniform, wear identification, wear your badge. Even the persons who, whoever they're operating for, look professional, dress professionally, and, you know, have some ID, and that will alleviate some of the fears. And when I called the person who had on the white and the badge on, they didn't even ask me any other question. They just simply started to communicate, you know, exchange information, and then they went to their business.
Yeah, it's all about that level of professionalism and knowing that I have this safety, you have an ID that I can identify you, you look uniformed, you look as though things are up to par and I wouldn't have to worry about getting from point A to point B because safety is a concern. Now, in these days in particular, there's a lot of traffic pressure here in this Scarborough area. What are some of the plans in place to alleviate that stress?
So the thing about traffic, and many people think that it's a police issue, but the Ministry of Works is who tells you which road you should travel or which direction you should go. The police is only there really to make sure it happens and it happens smoothly. But yeah, we try our best to come down into Scarborough and really work to ease the congestion. But drivers of themselves are selfish. So we park anyway, we try to cut in anyway, we try to do whatever we want to do to benefit me. But I'm not trying to benefit the wider public. So that keeps a big congestion in the traffic. Even crossing, especially at Scotia Corner. And I think that they should put a light there for crossing and not crossing. Because people just walk, don't look. The zebra crossing, they just step onto it.
Yes, sir. And if I may add, what the police service is doing is they are trying to have high visibility in this Scarborough area. If you look recently, you will see a number of officers with the yellow vest, reflective vest in town, strategically placed where they in the hours where you see the most traffic. And they try to reduce the congestion, regulate the traffic, and regulate the flow of traffic. So we are saying that some of them would have been taken off because of the duties, the ballot box duties and different things, but they are coming back, and you will see them in Scarborough to alleviate the traffic. I know you said that you are seeing a lot of traffic congestion. That will be alleviated, and as you said that, I'm certain the sergeant in charge of traffic will bear in mind and deploy the officers and make sure that that is no longer a problem.
Sure, you listen.
If an incident happens regarding a visitor or a local business here on the island of Tobago during the cruise ship season when they come off and maybe there's an altercation or something of the sort, what is the step-by-step procedure for the visitor to report this in a manner that they know that it's going to be dealt with, and how can they track their case?
So what happens is that first the report is made, and we take the report. If it's a report that has to go to the court, however, a statement is taken from the visitor, and mind you now, most things are virtual, so the visitor doesn't have to stay or doesn't have to appear personally, but he could appear virtually. So that kind of makes it easier for us in the process, because sometimes many of our matters, because visitors have to leave, would go down the drain because the visitor is not able to come back. So
now, to the both of you, What do you want our visitors to feel after they leave the island of Tobago, and how do you want the public, how do you want Tobago to treat our visitors as they come to the island to ensure that they continue to return and that they give them a safe experience here?
Most of us are travel, most of us visit other places, and we should treat others as though how we want to be treated. Yes? So as a police officer, I want them to feel safe. I want them to remember that the police is approachable and the police is there to keep them safe, and they must have a good experience. A lot of times they will come to take pictures with us and we will pose with them, you know? So they must have that good memory. They mustn't feel as though we are antagonistic towards them. And not only the visitors, we are here for the regular public and the community and, you know, Tobago on a whole. So yes, we want them to feel safe. We want everyone to feel safe. Visitor and locals must feel safe the same way.
PC Goddard?
Yes, so I like to piggyback on what he said. He probably said everything, and I want him to have a very good experience. I experienced that you know that when I come to Tobago, it's always a good time. I want to return. I want to bring my family. I want to bring my friends. I want to bring even those who doesn't even know Tobago. I want them to come and have this experience, and that's how you must feel.
I want to thank you so much, Corporal Brathwaite and PC Goddard, for coming here this morning and giving these tips to our cruise ship guests that will be coming. I want to thank you as well for giving us the crime updates as well as the tips for Carnival. And I hope that going through this season that you guys are also safe and ensure that the work that you are doing is helps to prevent some crime or some issue from escalating more than it needs to be. To our viewers, I want to thank you so much for joining us. We'll be right back after the break. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and the service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships. It's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
Hair goals, we've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy for queens who know exactly what they want.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to Tobago Updates Morning Show. We're here in studio with Anicia Batiste Rodriguez, and she's here to talk about her Valentine's Day event that is scheduled to happen on February 14th. Good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning and thanks for having me.
Now, for people meeting you for the first time, who is Anicia Batiste Rodriguez and what is Sana by Nisi?
Okay, so most persons may actually know me from the sporting environments because I'm a national athlete in the sport of netball. I've been a national athlete for basketball as well. So when the art thing kind of came in, everybody was like, Anicia, painting, like what is happening there, you know? So of course, I'm a girl of the soil of Tobago. I have the sip and paint business, Sana by Nisi, and we provide a range of artistic I would say services from the sip and paint, which is our primary event here in Tobago. We've done hundreds of events across the island as well as Trinidad. We do artistic commissions, portraits, large-scale murals, graphic design, logos, flyers. There's a wide range as far as you can list it.
Now, you've been in operation for 7 years. What has kept the brand consistent and growing over that period of time?
Well, I would say when we started actually pre-COVID, right? We were probably in operation for a year, and then COVID just hit, and there were concerns about, you know, would this sip and paint thing survive the COVID? And when persons, you know, when it opens back up, would people still want to sip and paint? Would they go back to the regular, you know, events of their day-to-day? However, I think that sip and paint is something that just provides a completely different experience to persons, and when they do the sessions, I would say, you know, that word of mouth that we always say is your best asset has really allowed this business to soar and to continue to grow even to this day, you know. So COVID was like a time where everybody was running towards it, and even from that it kept fly because persons were, you know, this is a nice thing to do. They found that it was so relaxing. There's always good testimonies coming off of it. They may be a bit withheld, a little shy at first, and then they do the event and it's like, oh my God, I want to do this again. So I would say the people of Tobago have just been amazing in making sure that this exists for today.
Now, I know before we came on air, I asked you about how many times have you done this event in particular, and you mentioned that you did it once in 2023, right? And now you're doing it again in 2026. Why did you choose the theme painting all of for this Valentine's themed event?
All right, so like I said, this particular event was tailored for, you know, Valentine's Day, but I've had many other events throughout the years, you know. So I have done a Japanese sip and paint. I usually do it around my birthday, which is coming up on Friday. I would usually always do an event that time, and so I said, you know, I want to do something for the couples. I want to tailor something specifically for them. I mean, Valentine's Day is every year, and you know, how many things can you do, or how many different things can you do for Valentine's Day? And so I said, you know, let's do painting all love, sip and paint. A lot of persons throughout the years have already booked it for their little anniversaries and things like that, and I've seen how they enjoy it, you know, with your significant other, how much fun they have in that personal setting. So I said, I'm going to do something tailored for our couples. And so painting all love, you have sip and paint, you're able to have dinner, you have the photo shoot, because everybody likes a little photo shoot moment to, you know, keep for the years to come. You have entertainment and dessert and lots more. And I mean, if you go to just a dinner, you probably pay the same amount for your dinner alone. So I'm saying, you know, let me make this as much of a full experience, that all inclusive as much as possible, that persons could walk away. They're walking away with their belly full. You're walking away with a nice painting to go and hang up in your room to remember the event, entertainment, your photos that you're getting at the event before you even leave. So I said, you know, I want to get this done again.
Well, you already answered my follow-up question, which would have been, what makes this different to a regular sip and paint or a regular dinner on Valentine's Day? But you already answered.
Because like I say, I mean, when you watch the fly, I mean, persons can probably feel, what would I say, intimidated by the amount, because it's $1,000 for the two persons, right? So $1,000 per couple. However, like I say, you go to dinner today, you're paying probably $800-900 by the time you finish for your dinner. You know, your main course probably coming up to that alone. So I'm saying, you know, let me see, while working with some sponsors as well, how much I could offer persons for just this amount. And I am telling you, it is definitely going to be worth it. It's not something we're going to do every single year, but I'm saying don't miss this one. Don't miss it at all.
Now, what kind of experience are you creating for the couples? Is it romantic? Is it fun? Is it classy? Is it a mix? What is it going to be like?
So I would say romantic. I would say classy, with a little bit of quirkiness inside there. So if you see from some of the photos and stuff that were provided, you know, the first time we had some nice little shareable charcuterie boxes, right? And by the time the photos came, because you know I'm up there, I'm teaching, doing everything. By the time the photos came and you saw some persons feeding their partners grapes, because it was separate tables, right? So you and your significant other on a table each. And then I saw the pictures, and no persons helping, persons put on the aprons. You see partners feeding themselves grapes, feeding their significant others grapes, as you see, right? You know, people got up, they danced. We had a nice photo booth, people to take pictures. And so it's that nice, fun quirkiness where, you know, yes, it's going to have other couples there, but we could enjoy a private time right here in the midst of everything going on.
Now, are couples painting one separate piece, or is it two separate pieces? What is that going to be like? Is it a collaborative activity between both, or are they both going to be getting their own painting?
So we ride on the concept of, you know, being both halves of one heart. You know, as we say, it's painting all love. And so the last year, what we would have done, it's the two canvases come together to make a complete picture. So you and I come together to complete each other, basically. So you are set up. I try to do kind of a reveal finish. So you're set up facing each other. You could see how, you know, see each other, watch each other talk, sing, dance, paint. And then when you finish, you come and put it together, and that completes the image.
Now, I know you spoke about this event being mainly for couples, and we know Valentine's is about romantic love. However, we have best friends who usually take their friends out. So is this for them as well?
So there actually was, and I think I did send the picture. There were I can't say couples, they were friends, right, that did come and say, hey, me and my best friend, you know, we don't have anybody, but we want to have a good time for Valentine's as well. I said, sure, come through. And they came, you know, and they were able to have the full experience just like any other couple would have. On entry, you know, we would have had a sponsor, Eye for Design, provide us with real roses, and we would have allowed persons to present their partners with these roses as soon as they came in. So when I tell you, you don't have to worry about providing anything. We have the event set up for you. You just have to show up, right? Get your tickets, you come, you show up, and we have the event planned just for you.
Now, what painting style are you guiding them through? Is it romantic, abstract? Is it silhouettes, something symbolic?
So I would say definitely symbolism. You know, we go in with the love. We go in with the love die hard. So it's going to be hearts. It's going to be, you know, roses. It's going to be red theme. We go with love. In terms of the abstract finish, most times, yes. Because I kind of like to give persons the opportunity to express. So it's not going to be hard and fast what I show. But if you feel to put a little extra splash here, extra splash there, no objections at all.
Now, I know on the flyer it says location to be announced. Can you share with the public where they can stay updated or tuned in for when that venue drops?
Definitely. So regarding that location to be announced situation, because that's something I always end up finding myself in, but it always works out in the end by God's grace. But you know, the event is kind of coming up in between the carnival season, so you could imagine the kind of competition for spaces and stuff at that time. But of course, I would love to have the event privatized so that persons don't feel, you know, too out in the public while they're expressing their love and that kind of thing. And I do have somewhere lined up, but to get that confirmation, of course, you can contact me at 327-1865. We have our Instagram page as well. That's Sana_by_Nisi. You can find me on Facebook at Anicia Batisha Rodriguez, right? And we have a TikTok as well. But I think those other three things would suffice.
Now, how limited are the spaces, and how soon should couples start to reach out to you to get their spaces secured?
No, right? I'm telling you, it's really nice. The sales are going good. And I'm going for, I don't want to really say my amount, but I like to kind of limit, you know, this experience. I'm going for 15 couples. I'm going no more than that, 15 couples. And we are already coming down to the Gregs. So this is just my public announcement. If you didn't get it yet, the window closing in tight. So today is the day to get yours.
Now, I know earlier you mentioned sponsors. Can you share who your sponsors are and just give them a bit of a shout out and a thank you for their involvement?
I don't want to let that cat out the bag just yet because I'm still working out some nicks and knacks, you know. But some of the encouragement I've had throughout the years that I'm hoping to have again, and most of these would have been kind of small businesses that I try to partner with to make sure that the small businesses get their shine up as well. You know, I've had Eye for Design, like I say, the first year they provided us with some beautiful, luscious, healthy roses. I've had Red Rose Fashion Boutique. I've had Kishon's Guest House. I've had so many persons come throughout the years and just support and just give to the events. And of course, I always try to do my best with marketing them. So you also find them on the social media as the event goes on. They are promoted. And we have some entertainment that I have confirmed that I can share as well. And we're supposed to have Michella Williams, a beautiful voice in Tobago. If you've never heard her, you need to hear that beautiful voice. I have Ricardo Seals. He's a known boy on the island as well, to bring us some saxophone, one of my favorite instruments. And I'm hoping, see the little the saxophoners bring a different kind of romance to the thing. And I'm hoping to probably get a little bit of pan, just, you know, a little touch of everything for those persons loving that flavor.
Now, what do persons really surprise themselves about after this experience in terms of painting, especially if you're not very artistic? Because I know there are persons who are probably wondering, I can't paint, I've never drawn anything in my life, and you're asking me to come to a sip and paint?
Listen to me, it's one of the comments I hear the most throughout my past 7 years. I can't paint, you know, I can't this, I can't that. Oh my gosh, look at this painting, oh, it's so hard. But that's what I'm here for. You know, I'm here to make the persons comfortable. Anyone who attends is always my main priority. You know, I would stop what I'm doing and come over. And of course, I'm the instructor, so I'm here to guide you. You have nothing to worry about. You're not being left alone. So if you see in the pictures as well, I'm up in front with my easel, huge canvas to make sure wherever you are, you can see me. And I'm telling you exactly what to do, what brush to use, what stroke to make, when to wash, what paint to use. So no one has to feel like I have to come and just paint this thing on my own, because I'm there to guide and to make you feel comfortable and welcome. Sometimes I even stop my painting and I will come and sit down by you and help you, so you have nothing to be worried about. And in the end, like you say, persons are usually always surprised, like, you know, I thought this would have been real hard, or I thought this, and there's a confidence boost that I see. And that's one of the things I love to market, why I say it's an experience. You know, people don't just go home with a painting, they go home with this confidence boost, like, oh my God, I did this and I could do it again.
Now, as we wrap up, Anicia, I want you to share again with the public the date, the time, tell them a bit about the event again, and where they can find you on social media.
Sure. So once again, this is Anicia Batiste Rodriguez. We're going to be having our Sip and Paint event, right? Courtesy Sana by Nisi. It's Painting Our Love. You're going to be able to sip and paint. You're going to have dinner. You're going to have dessert. You're going to have entertainment. You're going to have professional photographers doing a photo shoot. You can get right on your phone as soon as we finish. I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing. You can come with your significant other. You could come with your best friend. You can even come by yourself if you so desire. Just reach out to me. 327-1865. You can find us on Instagram, Sana_by Nisi. You can find me on Facebook at Anicia Batiste Rodriguez. I'm telling you, don't miss it. It's going to be amazing. What else is there on the island to do for Valentine's Day? Saturday, 14 February. Have your sip and paint with us.
Now, viewers, if you didn't know what you needed to do on Valentine's Day, or you're wondering what you needed to do, here is Anicia telling you exactly what you should be a part of. And I want to thank you so much for coming on this morning and sharing with our viewers what you have in store for Valentine's Day. And to our viewers, I want to thank you so much for tuning in this morning at Tobago Updates Television. And I want to remind you to stay tuned. We have GMT up next. And remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
We are here at the Scarborough General Hospital Medical Imaging Department. This morning, we actually hand over a brand new 64-slice CT scanner, replacing the 16-slice scanner that we've had since the inception of the hospital. We've had a CT scanner, but this 64-slice will enable us to have faster images, so it's of course shorter scan time for patients, better imaging quality, so we'll be able to see detail in a much more efficient fashion, enabling better diagnosis, and it will also enable us to do things like CT angiography that we could not have.
Great. So it is really, really an honor being here this morning to finally participate in this ceremony. Of course, we know that the CT scan is one of those pieces of equipment that can really help us with a whole lot. Its capacity to see what is happening within the body means that it can help us when we're dealing with trauma, even when we're dealing with NCDs, when we're dealing with a full gamut, cancers, when we're dealing with a full gamut of diseases in terms of diagnostics. Ready? I want to start by sincerely thanking the members of the Baby Friendly Hospital Initiative for the hard work that you guys have put in place to allow us to have the kind of accreditation that we now have.
These boxes contain essential items for babies
giving every child a good start. Ladies and gentlemen, I am elated to be part of this beneficial move.
So tell me, how will this baby box help you?
It will help in a lot because of them inside of it. For instance, the manual pump. You could put it in your bag and walk with it. And the bag, you could open it out and put the baby in it to change. So it's a very good idea, and I'm very thankful for it.
Well, I think the baby box in general will benefit all new moms, but for me in particular, I like the aspect of the breast pump because I personally want to breastfeed for a long time. So that's actually my favorite item in the box, but everything else I think would be useful, from the clothes and all the other goodies that was given today.
The box would assist my family and I, first of all, with the basic needs that baby would need. The one thing I'm actually grateful for is the breast pump, because I was about to purchase one. Since I'm exclusively breastfeeding, I want that the father and other family members to be a part of my journey. And I know that this is breastfeeding month. It is, yes it is.
Today's launch and unveiling are steps in the right direction.
We start by the mummies and the daddies giving birth in a baby-friendly facility. And then we send home with a little bit more support.
This year's summit, it takes a slight different approach compared to last year. Based on the persons who had came, the students who had came, we felt that we should have a section focused for the students, because that is where the agri-technology would start from, where the innovators are. So this year we take our focus on the students, as well as we incorporated different persons within the country of Trinidad and Tobago, and we got exhibitors from right here on this island. Innovation and agriculture and technology.
Produce Tobago is an online multi-vendor marketplace website which facilitates buying and selling along the agricultural value chain. So if you are selling agricultural fertilizer or seedlings, you can sell on the website. If you're an agro-processor, you could also sell your pepper sauces, your nuts, that sort of stuff on the website. Even if you provide agricultural services, as it says, it's agricultural technology, and I think that this is innovative in and of itself to bridge gaps in the agricultural landscape. So I felt like it was important to bring it to the people of Tobago.
I help companies, farmers, food processors, anywhere along the value chain, build and implement their food safety and quality management systems, as well as an educator, because that's where it starts. I think that it is important because it helps you not only be current and up to date, but with so many changes happening in the climate, it's important to leverage technology so that you don't be at a loss. Why not use the technology that we have available to us? Don't be afraid of it, to empower your operations so that you can be more efficient, effective, and profitable in the long run.
Well, I'm here at the summit today to learn more about agriculture and to know how far agriculture can get. So normally I might think, well, agriculture is hard work, you had to labor, but coming to the summit teach me that how well agriculture is getting easier.
It's indeed a pleasure to be here today at the summit. On one hand, we're here to learn and grow as well, because with education, it's a thing that you keep learning as you go on. At the same time, we're also here to provide information on the impacts of forestry and the relevant information to stakeholders who will be here today.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly. Your
viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host Chanel Felix, and guys, you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's interesting topics and conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds. Today at 11 a.m. at the Magdalena Grand Golf and Beach Resort, Her Excellency President Christine Kangaloo will officially swear in secretaries and assistant secretaries of the Tobago House of Assembly, following the Tobago People's Party's decisive victory on January 12th polls. The THA Amendment Bill 2026 was passed, giving way to an unlimited number of secretaries to govern the Assembly. Last week, while on Good Morning Tobago, Chief Secretary Augustine said everyone will not be made secretaries. Additionally, a senior delegation from the United Arab Emirates, held by Her Excellency Noura bint Mohammed Al Kabi, visited the island yesterday as part of the official program focused on investment and cultural exchange. The delegation was received at the ANR Robinson International Airport by Chief Secretary Farley Augustine and members of the Tobago House of Assembly. During the visit, the UAE delegation toured key development projects and visited Fort King George, where they experienced a cultural presentation highlighting Tobago's heritage. The Tobago program followed meetings in Trinidad, where the delegation met with the cabinet ministers and toured potential investment sites. The visit formed part of the ongoing effort to strengthen relations between the UAE and Trinidad and Tobago to present Tobago as a location for development and international partnerships. And finally, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has come under heavy scrutiny from both the public and relatives of Joshua Samaru, who was shot and killed by police last week, after video footage appeared online showing what looked like Samaru's attempt to surrender at a police chase. Samaru's relatives have claimed that the act was an attempted execution of his common-law wife and U.S. citizen Kai Seeley, who was also shot and remains hospitalized in a serious condition. Dismissing statements by Police Commissioner Alistair Guerrero hours after the couple had been involved in an alleged shootout with police officers. Samaru's father, Christopher Samaru, has vowed not to let the matter rest until justice is served. And that was on news in 90 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, we take a quick break right here and we'll be back with much more conversation after this. See you soon.
Are you
in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam. You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. This morning we jump straight into our conversations and we're talking a bit about Carnival 2026, and that's the National Carnival, that is. And to have that conversation with me this morning, I have the privilege of sitting in studio and chatting with Ms. Candice Robertson, who is the representative for Tuco Tobago. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Ms. Felix. Good morning, Tobago.
Excellent. And for the persons who don't know, Tuco is a Tobago Unified Calypsonians organization.
That's right.
And you are on the board of the Tobago representatives, the chairman of the board of the Tobago
That's right.
zone. Tell us a little bit about some of the work that you guys have been doing recently and what we can expect from you for this National Carnival.
Okay, so we know that we just came out of the October Carnival period, and some of the Calypsonians will have faced the judges in October. We also have, well, it's now National Carnival, and some of these same Calypsonians are facing the national judges on Wednesday night. On Saturday night, we just had our launch, Tobago Calypso launch on the Esplanade. And we're moving into Wednesday night. That would be the judges' night for the people vying for a chance for the semi-final round at Skinner Park. Yeah.
And so these are the Tobago contenders only?
That's right.
And this would be in Tobago here?
That
Where
would
would
be
it be?
in Tobago. Okay, so let me run into what would be happening on Wednesday. So Wednesday we have a full day of events. We have the juniors from 9 a.m. at the Canaan Community Center. Then we go into the unattached, which would be just after the lunch period. And after the lunch period, we come back at 8 p.m. for the adults, the adult Calypsonians, to face the judges for the semi-final round to Skinner Park. That starts at 8 p.m. and there's an admission of $40.
Right. So I'm happy to hear that it's open to the public and persons can actually come out and support their favorite Calypsonians. Are there any popular names that we can expect to be there that you want to tell the people that they can look out for?
Okay. Yes, so we have Roslyn Reed. Let me just mention the Tuco Calypso tent is called the Magnificent Glow Tent, right? So we have Miss Roslyn Reed, who just represented Tobago in Montserrat, placing third in that regional Queens competition. And she would be one of the people vying for a chance. We have Tobago Chalky. We have our reigning Tobago monarch, Miss Nicole Thomas. We have Dylan Thomas, Wendy Thomas Garrick, and Wendell Frederick, a few.
Right.
You know,
and we see we have the Thomas family there again.
That's
they
right,
never
that's
fail
right.
to show
Always
up,
doing their
brothers,
best.
sisters.
That's right.
They're always there and extremely competitive at that. Tell us a bit about how the Tobago judging or the Tobago segment has improved over time.
Okay. Well, as you could see, it speaks for itself, you know, because it's tough as an artist to go out there and really put your work out there. But the judges, they do their thing. Contestants, they do their thing, and the judge's decision is final.
And we always expect really good talent coming out of Tobago, specifically in the Calypso Monarch. So we're looking forward to seeing that the preliminaries and the semi-finals and the finals are packed with some Tobago contenders as well.
And even the juniors showing a lot of interest in the competition, where we have 12 juniors registered at the moment for the junior prelims on Wednesday, right? The Calypso 10 Magnificent Glow, it consists of 24 Calypsonians, but of course not all of them will be facing the judges vying for a chance at the semi-final round, but you can still come out because the rest of it is entertainment. We have people like Pocky and Culture B and Carisia, and you know, so people can come out in the numbers and support the Magnificent Glow Calypso tent on Wednesday.
Excellent. And tell us a bit about, you know, how Tobago has worked to improve the resources given to Calypsonians on the island and to make them feel more included.
Okay, well, the resources that we get, it's not much, but we try to stretch it across, make sure that, as we know, we have to promote the artists, and you know, I believe in your work, you must get paid, right? So we try. Sometimes it's not what we expect, but we do our best to make sure that everybody is comfortable.
Excellent. And, you know, tell us about, you know, the difference between building out what's happening in Tobago in the October Carnival and what's happening at the national level when it comes to the National Carnival, because when we have that Tobago Calypso Monarch, it's mostly focused on the Tobago artists, and in February we have the national level. But you know, there are the persons who think, okay, if persons ought to improve the quality of what they're putting out there, then just as Tobagonians are allowed to go to Trinidad at the national level, then some Trinidadian Calypsonians should be able to come to Tobago and also vie for the championship in Tobago, seeing that it is one country. How do you feel about that?
To tell you the truth, I really don't have a problem with it. It's Trinidad and Tobago. Actually, sometimes we do have some of the Trinidad artists coming here to perform, even vying for a chance at the Skinner Park semi-final round through the Tobago zone.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's both ways. We also have people from Tobago going to Trinidad to vie for a chance at the semi-final round through Tuco Trinidad as well. So once you're a member of Tuco, whichever side of Trinidad and Tobago you are, you can register, you can register for competition, you can compete, you can choose where you wanna.
All right. And even if we look at the national level, things are changing. We're seeing that the Soca Titans show has been cancelled because of a lack of resources. But you have Calypso continuing the Soca Titans. How do, in Trinidad, the Soca Monarch competition, how do you work to ensure that Tobago continues to have the resources, or even Calypso is advocated for, that there is always that resource to keep it going?
All right, well, what I can say, what I know most of all, is that the Soca Monarch in Trinidad is a private entity.
Okay.
So Togo doesn't have much say into that. But through the August body, the General Counsel, Mr. Ainsley King, who is also from Tobago, they continually working hard to make sure that every Tobago artist, you have that chance. You know, we put the information out there. We even have people competing for the Extempo in Trinidad this time from Tobago as well. Yeah, so it's across the board. We work hard to make sure every Calypsonian has a chance in whatever field you choose, whether it's freestyle, Extempo, Calypso Monarch, the road march. We have those registration forms and people sign up. And
if people would like to contribute to the art of Calypso, whether they be persons that are within the diaspora and they just want to give back, how can they contribute to the work that's being done?
Okay, well, Togo office, there's a Facebook page on Togo office. They can always reach out to the organization and pledge their contributions, whether it's to the Tobago Zone. Is our Tobago Zone email is at tobago@gmail.com, right? And then there's the Togo Trinidad page on Facebook. All national events, all Togo events is also listed. So whatever contributions, there's numbers there that you can contact.
Right. And do you encourage persons to give back, to contribute, to help develop the art form? Because oftentimes, you hear persons saying, well, this could be done or that could be done, or they need to do this or they need to do that. But what can the society do to help contribute to improving the quality and the longevity of Calypso music?
Well, most definitely is support Calypso, because you see, Calypso is the music of Trinidad and Tobago. And yes, we have people calling and giving contributions to the organization. And yeah, support the youths, because they are the future. Some, instead of the linemen and the, on the block, that is something that people can, the youths can look into on a positive note, to make their contribution. We even have, for the people who didn't know, there are people who compete from the prisons to give back to society, right? After, you do your crime, you do your time, and you give back something to society, whether it's your performance, whatever. And they win prizes as well.
So you're saying that persons who are currently incarcerated are actually able to participate in the Calypso Monarch?
That's right.
Excellent. We're going to take a quick break here and we'll continue with much more Calypso conversation after this. See you soon.
How it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna. Look up below, 'cause this is your show. Do more, live more.
Tobago updates. Na, 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 na. Good morning, Tobago. Na, 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 na. Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. This morning we have been talking about Calypso and we've been chatting with the Tobago Zone Chairman, Miss Candice Robinson. Good morning and welcome back. This morning we've been chatting a bit about Calypso and what's happening at the national carnival level. I see that there's a number of Calypso tents happening throughout the season, specifically in Trinidad. But what is happening here in Tobago?
Okay, so as I said, our tent would have just launched on Saturday night. We know that the season is short, one, and at present, Togo hasn't received any allocations as yet. So we're more focused on the opening, which is to give people a pre-run of what is supposed to happen on Wednesday and the judges' night. After that, then we would work out what goes next. But for now, we're just more focused on giving the Tobago artists a chance at the semi-finals, both adults and juniors.
Right, so this is focused on Wednesday. There's nothing happening before Wednesday.
Not at the moment. Also on Wednesday, there's the unattached, right? That's for the people who is not a part of a Calypso tent, who are not a part of a Calypso tent, but you still wish to face the judges for a chance at the semi-final. And some people really come through and get through from that level to face the semi-final round at Skinner Park.
Right. And tell us a bit about the Junior Calypso Monarch. What's the age group for that? And is it particularly schools competing, or are they just independent young persons?
Okay, so it's schools, as long as you're attending a school, whether even if you're finished the secondary level of schooling and you're now at the university, you can compete. So we have junior competitors from as small as 6 years old, and they really, it's exciting to see them perform because they really put their all into it, because they really want to get to the next level. It's a lot of excitement among the children. Yeah, they look forward to that. Last year we had our junior monarch, Miss Coquise Davidson. She advanced right into the final round and she won the Junior Calypso Monarch. So this year we're hoping to have the Junior Monarch staged again and see who's gonna take home the crown for the Junior Calypso title.
Right. And when we look at Calypso development on a whole, specifically in Tobago, what is Tobago Zone doing to ensure that there's year-round engagement with the artists?
Well, we try our best to do as much as we can, but with trials in terms of funding, there's so much that we can do, right? As I said, for the competitions, those prize structures are allocated to us through the Festival Commission, right? At present, we know they're working on dealing with allocations for the interest groups, but as we know, we don't have a secretary as yet, so we're hoping that something works out really soon.
Right, so after today, hopefully Tuco has a meeting with whoever that secretary is, and you begin
really
those
looking forward to it.
conversations about really expanding the art form throughout the year.
That's right.
And you see that even with the Heritage Festival, they're trying to integrate more of different areas and different concepts, not just the stage shows, but you're seeing different film and different things are happening.
That's right.
And so that's an area to also include the calypso shows and have that integrated deeply into the culture and the heritage product to expand that to something that persons can be more excited to look forward to and not have persons saying, well, this seems to be the same thing happening every year.
That's right. I was asked, what is the difference between the October Carnival and the National Carnival itself? Just to note that the October Carnival is Tobago based, so everything Tobago. But the National Carnival is where the Tobago artists look forward to that chance at the national. So it's, Pan does it as well, because they look forward to the national Pan semi-finals and the national finals, right? So it also happens at the Tobago level too, where the Calypsonians also look forward to vying for that chance for that level of it.
Right. And do you think that there has to be some work with the Tobago artists to help them improve their craft to be able to compete at that national level?
Of course. And at present, we are discussing even through the August body to go in Trinidad to work, start doing some workshops to help improve, especially with the juniors. Some of the adults, they would want to do it, some may not, but especially for the juniors, because they are coming up, and pretty soon people like myself may not be able to even sing because the juniors coming up there and they're doing the thing, and they are very, very brilliant at what they do. Yeah.
Right. And so that training for the artists, whether it be the juniors, it's critical in terms of helping to improve. But does that exist currently? Are there any avenues for training that Calypsonians can benefit from?
We host small workshops from time to time. We even have our education and research officer in Trinidad come to Tobago at times and host small workshops. Sometimes we have Mr. Liverpool come and do small workshops as well with the juniors and the schools. Yeah.
Right. And going back to what is happening on Wednesday, give us the time and the location again.
Okay, so Wednesday from 9 a.m. for the people, it's an open event to the public. We have the juniors from 9 a.m. to 12. We pause for lunch, then we come back with the unattached from 1 p.m. until, and then we come back from 8 p.m. in the night. At the Canaan, everything happens at the Canaan Community Center. And for 8 p.m., the 8 p.m. Judges Night Show, that admission is 40 TT.
Understood. Well, again, we want to thank you so much for being here this morning. Is there anything that you want to tell Tobagonians as it pertains to coming out and being a part of that celebration and supporting the local Calypsonians?
Yes, most definitely. We just inviting Tobago to come out and support Calypso in its full glory and cheer on for the Calypsonians. Let them feel comfortable performing. We would love everybody as much people that could hold inside the Canaan Community Center. We appreciate you and we would be happy to have you. So come out 8 p.m. to the show, Judges Night. Let's see who goes to the national semi-final round.
Excellent. Well, again, we want to thank you so much, Ms. Robinson, for being here.
Most welcome.
As you're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back with much more conversation after this. This morning, we'll be opening the phone lines to hear from you. What divisions do you think particular secretaries or assistant secretaries may be assigned to? We'll be having that conversation right after this, and you'll call me and give me your predictions. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
Tobago, the sun is rising, and so are the conversations that matter, from the economy to education, from healthcare to community voices. No spin, no fluff, just facts, truth, and clarity. Join me, Lavian, as we cover the issues that shape our lives, the stories we can't ignore. We bring them to the table and ask the questions you want answered.
You come in. Long time I see you. This station complete. Ready for children party. Mommy! Jay, you can't go nowhere with these children. And you know you can't depend on Kevin neither Steven to see about them. Yeah, total waste. So I supposed to stay home whole time? Jada is 12. She could see about that. You just leave Jada to see about Kia and Kayla? I thought it was your mother or your sister. Who? Them always busy. Jada could handle that. She cooking and cleaning a long time. And the next two better know what time it is. It's only me, you know. I will talk to my mother. She just home these days. She will make sure the children okay. Alright. Let me see the moves for later.
Before you ramage, make sure the children okay. Call 996 to report all child abuse now. A message from the Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the sky.
welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. As I mentioned before the break this morning, our phone lines would be open and you would be allowed to call us at 684-65997. Again, that is 684-6597, the number on the screen. This morning, we want to hear from you. First of all, let us know where you're calling us from this morning and what are your predictions for this morning's swearing-in ceremony at 11 a.m. For those of you who are unaware, that ceremony is going to take place today at the Magdalena Grand Golf and Beach Resort, and we should see all the secretaries out this morning and the assistant secretaries being sworn in. We want to know if you have any predictions, any obvious speculations. Last week I had a conversation right here on Tobago Updates with the Chief Secretary, and I tried my best to get out of him some hints, try to find out really who of the assemblymen were going to be placed where. He was quite tight-lipped about that, so we're guessing that he decided to keep that very close to his chest for a grand reveal this morning. And so a number of us are sitting at the edge of our seats just waiting to hear who goes where. For me, I could start off with some of my speculations, right? I am thinking that we're going to see Assemblyman Zorisha Hackett possibly going to the division of tourism, or that division possibly being split down the middle into the division of tourism and then culture and antiquities as another division, and one area particularly focused towards the carnival and the other festivals on the island, and tourism being more focused possibly on getting more flights to Tobago, improving the overall tourism product and service offering. But that's just my personal speculation, but we'll see what is happening this morning at 11 a.m. Fortunately for me and Tobago Updates, we are here to give you that front row seat. So we'll be coming to you live from the Magdalena Grand Hotel this morning, and we will be there and we will bring you all the information that you need to know. And of course, you're going to get those behind the scenes clips from us. But what are some of your predictions? What are you thinking that you're going to see this morning? Again, I also think or feel that we might see Dr. Faith Brebner returning to the Division of Health. That might also be broken down as well. I hear that from my producers that we have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller, and welcome.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
And to all the Tobagoans listening, including some of the Trinis, I am calling from Canaan Feeder Road.
Good
so
morning
far,
to you,
I
sir.
have been only decided that one secretary and to be replaced, not to be replaced, to return to his former secretarial duties, and that is Mr. Trevor James. I'm of the view that he can work it way, but I think he's best suited, and he has demonstrated to Tobago that he has the capacity to continue doing a very good job in that field. So, Secretary James, Trevor James for the Secretary for Infrastructure.
Infrastructure, excellent. And I think I've heard some speculations that even that division may be broken into two as well, with a division of planning, and he may possibly go there based on his background. But we would definitely see it at 11 a.m. We could only speculate so much. And caller, we want to thank you so much for calling us from Canaan Feeder Road. Another thing, we saw the appointment of 3 councillors, and I think that is one that is clear. We saw experts in the legal industry being sworn in as one of the councillors. So for a lot of persons, we're obviously thinking any division of legal affairs that she would be placed there. When we look at finance, persons are also speculating that the reason why Secretary Petal and Roberts was brought back as a councillor is because she would be placed in finance to continue doing her duties there. That is also my personal speculation as well. Again, we have to wait until 11 a.m. to confirm those speculations. But from where we sit here and conversations that we've had with the Chief Secretary, we also expect to see a lot of shaking up happening this morning as well. He went on to justify that you may see persons who you think are expert in one area being put into another area and expected to perform, and stating that the justification for that is that secretaries are not necessarily called upon to be experts in any field or in any industry, but to be expert managers and expert leaders for organizations. So just having that organizational leadership competency, that is enough to be placed in a division, whether it may suit your background or not. And I remember the Chief Secretary using the example of placing Councillor Kerr in the Division of Settlements and Public Utilities and Rural Development, where he was the Assistant Secretary within the last term of that administration being in office, and being able to serve well at his fullest capacity, although his background may have been in education. And so we also hear speculations that Mr. Assemblyman Kerr may be going back to education as the Secretary. And I think that one has been more than a speculation and has come to an expectation, because every time I hear persons talking about who they think will go where, I keep seeing the name Assemblyman Kerr coming up over and over again as being a person who they can see returning to the Division of Education as the Secretary there. I see a comment here in the comment section from Mr. Doniel Vincent saying that he hopes to see that sport becomes a body by itself. And I think that is the sentiment of a number of persons, really hoping that there is that, possibly that division of sport and youth affairs. And who can you see functioning there as the Secretary? For me, I would speculate that possibly Assemblyman Wade Was Clark, we could see going back in that area with someone else, possibly looking at a young, brilliant mind like Keegan Denoon going in the area of community development. Just from my speculation and, us sitting here, when you think about someone crossing the floor, moving from one party to another, you ask yourself, what was that conversation like? What was the convincing like? What was that conversation that caused him to say, well, yeah, I could move from the PNM into the TPP? And when I think about that, personally for me, I think that possibly there may have been an offer on the table for a secretarial position. So I would be very surprised if I see Mr. Denoon functioning as an assistant secretary, and that's my personal opinion. Because I think when you make that type of transition, it's always that bargaining. And when you have those levels of negotiations, you really think that his offer had to really be sweet for him to be put in such a position, to be scrutinized, to be called Judas on the platform, and still coming out successful from that. I think that we could possibly see him as a secretary. But again, these are only my speculations, and only confirmations that will be given would be at 11 a.m. as we would come to you live from the Magdalena Grand Golf and Beach Resort. We will be there. We will be front and center, offering you a front row seat from your home. So be sure to check in with us here at Tobago Updates at 11 a.m. bright and early, and I'm hoping that I get the nod from my producers that we would have those drone shots and we will be able to give you those overhead shots from Magdalena Grand. At Tobago Updates, we are known for bringing you high level content at the highest quality to give you that 360-degree view of the entire event. So we are looking forward to that. And even as we heard from the Chief Secretary during his press briefing, he spoke about giving assemblymen 9 months to perform. And for some persons, they are saying, can 9 months truly produce results? in their first term in office, we heard from a number of the assemblymen saying within the first year that it was almost like on-the-job training. And during that time, they had a lot of learning to do and integrating into the organization. When we look at some of the newer assemblymen coming in, or just assemblymen moving from one division to a new division, can we also say that they may need the same level of grace? Or is it just that we are now seeing Chief Secretary Farley Augustine 2.0, who does not have time for the on-the-job trainers and is looking for administration or a group that is willing to perform, as he indicated that their performance or lack thereof would fall back on him? And do you really expect to see a heightened level of performance, seeing that this Tobago People's Party now has 15-0 seats in the House? Can we see this as a heightened performance period, or would this be a period of heightened complacency? Let me know, guys. Remember, the phone lines are open and you can contact us at 284-6597. And you can join in on the conversation and let us know what are your predictions for this morning, right? We want to know, what do you think these secretarial and assistant secretarial assignments can look like? Do you predict that some of the assistant secretaries in the last administration can now see a movement towards being secretaries? I am really interested to see what happens there. I am interested to see how those new divisions are built out, and as a true member of the media, I am most excited for that press conference after the swearing-in ceremony, where the Chief Secretary gives us a greater level of insight and breakdown into the rationale behind the creation or the appointment of these secretaries and assistant secretaries, and what we can see being implemented just as they are sworn in. Like this week, we heard about the finance committee, and different committees that will be put in place to help the THA function more efficiently when it comes to paying off contractors, or just paying in with ACH transactions as opposed to checks for anything that is above 5,000 TT dollars. And so we look forward to hearing more of those plans and how they intertwine with the new developments in the new divisions, or just some of the new directions that this administration is willing to take. We heard a lot about the Tobago House of Assembly going green. I'm interested to see what division that agenda will fall under, who will be responsible for that, and what are some of the short, medium, and long-term goals that Tobagonians can look forward to really see the work being done as being productive and as hitting some of the targets, and not just being something that sounds good to say, but can truly compete with what is happening globally as it pertains to sustainable energy and sustainable resource management on the island. And again, I'm reading some of your comments, and I am seeing from Cheryl Solomon. Cheryl is saying, I hope to hear the qualifications of the secretaries placed in their specific departments. Quite an interesting comment we have there. Persons are saying that, we no longer want to see square pegs in round holes. We want to see persons matched to their particular area of expertise. But on the other hand, you're hearing the Chief Secretary saying, listen, good managers can function in any industry. As long as you are good at managing organizations, at managing people, at managing agendas and visions, you can function well in any area. I see from Doniel Vincent saying here in the comment section, the previous members should have shorter evaluation periods instead of 9 months, 6 months, since they knew they are already in the position compared to the new members. So, I spoke about giving that grace. Can a new member truly be given only 9 months to begin to show that results? And I hear from Daniel stating that maybe some of the new persons that are in new politics on a whole should be given a bit longer time to perform or to show forth those results compared to some of the older persons who have been in the game for a while. And so I heard from my caller this morning stating that he believes that with some of the results that he has seen throughout the island as it pertains to infrastructural development, with some of the new road infrastructure that we've seen in the first 4 years, that he believes that Assemblyman Trevor James should be able to return to the division of infrastructure, if that is what it would be called moving forward. We sit here and we would see. We truly would see this morning. And of course, I would be back here tomorrow morning, bright and early at 8 a.m. and we are going to this morning. And again, I'm going to open up the phone lines to hear from you. What do you think? Are you in agreement? Were you surprised? Or, are you a bit confused as to how some of the allocations fit into a particular area? So I look forward to having that post-mortem conversation with you and a number of other stakeholders here on Tobago Updates tomorrow morning on Good Morning Tobago. But again, as I mentioned, I will be there. Yeah, I will be there. I will be at the Magdalena Grand this morning, front and center with my Tobago Updates family, and we will be bringing that coverage to you live. All right, again, I want to thank you guys so much. Thank you for adding your comments to the comment section. Thank you for my caller for calling in earlier and giving his feedback so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we end. Good morning, Tobago. Again, I want to say thank you so much for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing and continue to do to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, I am Chanel Felix, and I will see you soon.